So this is the breaking news situation. Qatar Investment Authority will invest more than 8,200 crore rupees in Reliance Retail for less than 1% stake. That's the news development coming in from Reliance Industries. The investment will value Reliance Retail at $100 billion. Now remember that just 3 years back in 2020, Reliance Retail had sold 10.5% stake and raised about 47,000 crore rupees. And with this particular investment coming in from QIA, in 3 years, Reliance Retail has doubled its valuation from around $50 billion to $100 billion. So that's a very big development coming in, not in terms of just the investment of 8,000 crore rupees in Reliance Retail, but what we are here talking about is the valuation of the company at $100 billion, doubling in 3 years. Now, also important to note that Reliance Industries is going to hold its annual general meeting on Monday, on 28th of August. We know that several investors had put together 47,000 crore rupees 3 years back, and there is value unlocking also that was required. So with this particular investment, a definite valuation or value unlocking standard has been set in terms of the benchmarking of the valuation of Reliance Retail. This is one of the major developments coming in from the conglomerate Reliance Industries, which, remember, over the last few years has built sizable verticals in Geo Platforms, the digital services company, as well as Reliance Retail in the retail business. And if you remember, in the last quarter and in the financial results that was reported by Reliance Industries, the growth that was seen in Reliance Retail in terms of percentage was higher than the flagship company and other verticals as well. So the growth and pace at which Reliance Retail is growing has attracted investor interest at a much higher valuation in the 3 years. Also, the company has built this particular business to a sizable business. Now, the moot question here also will be in the annual general meeting, as the investors have been waiting for some sort of indication also of if an IPO can be done of Reliance Retail and Geo, which could be in the anvil in the next few years. And remember that Reliance Industries is in the phase of a golden decade till 2027. So is that something that is also on the anvil with this valuation benchmarking will be the obvious question that the market will be focusing on. But the big question and the big announcement that has really come in from conglomerate and business house Reliance Industries is that over 8,000 crore rupees has been invested by QIA for 1% stake in the company, 0.99% stake in the company. But in 3 years, the valuation has doubled from around $50 billion to $100 billion with this 1% investment that has been made by QIA. Mangalam Malu, my colleague, is right here. Mangalam, you have been quarter on quarter pouring in on the numbers and the growth and the built-up of Reliance Retail. Take us through what could have really led to this rise and doubling of the valuation, Mangalam.
That's right. You know, an investment coming in Reliance's retail business from Qatar Investment Authority of almost $1 billion. That's 8,278 odd crores. This values Reliance's retail business at 8.278 lakh crores, which is roughly about $100 billion as well. This valuation itself is largely in line with the valuation that analysts ascribe to Reliance's retail business. For instance, we have JPM and something like a JM Financial evaluating Reliance's business anywhere between $100 to $105 billion itself. Also in line with independent evaluators' numbers of EY as well as BDO. The important part, Reliance is trailing 12-month revenue of close to 2.7 lakh crores and EBITDA of nearly 20,000 crores will grow and benefit largely from gradual recovery in consumer sentiment, and at the same time the company's increased store footprint and operating leverage will expand it as well. The big triggers for them will be expansion of their own FMCG brand independence, the tie-ups that they've done, the beauty platform launch of Tira, they're entering beauty and personal care categories as well. And this quarter we saw 11 times growth in their beverage portfolio, so that would be another growth driver, as well as the integration of Metro AG's India business. The key to track will be the performance of their acquired brands and the new launches. and announcements in regards with any sort of acquisitions and expansions in that vertical as well. A strong retail footprint is what Reliance has grown, and now it's become the valuation driver for the company at $100 billion.
That's right, Mangalam. So you've charted out how Reliance Retail has been growing. But if we really want to point out the kind of growth trajectory that the retail business, first of all, in the last quarter, if you remember, the retail and the consumption-facing businesses, namely Reliance Retail as well as Jio platforms, were the ones which really performed far better than their flagship company business, that is the oil to chemical business, and the growth trajectory in the consumption-facing business, especially retail, has been much higher. Let me take it up with some of the experts on how and what do they make of this particular announcement. So Gurmeet Chadda, who's the managing partner and CIO at Complete Circle, joins us now. Gurmeet, what do you make of this particular announcement of Reliance Retail's valuation being doubled in 3 years and QIA coming in with over 8,000 crore rupees of investment at this point?
So I think very positive and constructive development for RAL and both retail and Jio. So if you remember the enterprise value when they did a pre-money was 4.2 lakh crores. So this is virtually doubled in 3 years. The enterprise value of Jio also was around 5 lakh crore, which was roughly about 60 billion. Even Jio, as per the latest enterprise value, is about close to 120 billion. So you now have the new age business making up more than $225 billion of valuation, and RAL market cap right now is roughly about $200 billion. So I think technically the oil to chemical business is virtually non-existent in the current valuation of RAL. Obviously there are holding company discount and other parameters. To us, this is a sign of more restructuring in Reliance, more demerger, more value unlocking, which will happen eventually in O2C business as well. And we are eagerly looking forward to the AGM to also get more clarity. And now with Jio Financial also listed, I'm sure they have bigger plans there as well. So overall, I think the overall value unlocking juggernaut just keeps rolling for RIL.
Oh, that's right, Gurmeet. In fact, hold on to your thoughts. Arvind Singhal of Technopack is also joining us here. Arvind, how do you see the kind of growth that Reliance Retail has seen over the last few years? And the same question I'll ask you, from being a retail expert yourself, how do you see the valuation doubling in 3 years with the kind of growth that Reliance Retail has shown? What is your analysis on this?
See, firstly, Reliance Retail story, as far as its trajectory is concerned, from a cold start, to actually look into a $25 billion revenue run rate and profitable, and creating a value of $100 billion, which has now been discovered formally through the investment of Qatar. I don't think any other company in India, any other business in India, has been able to demonstrate a top line like this, a bottom line, and a valuation in such a short span of time. So it's a milestone, development, not only for Reliance Retail, but indeed for most private businesses in India. This should be one inspiring story.
That's right, an inspiring story indeed. And if I can take you through the numbers, in the last particular quarter, the consumer-facing businesses had a much better growth trajectory and performance than the flagship business. But I would focus on the FY23 revenues, and oil to chemicals was at 72 billion with 19% uptick. Retail, at that one, grew by up by 30% at $32 billion. Now, to the point that Gurmeet was making, Gurmeet, the expectation with this particular valuation now rises from the AGM to get a timeline on the IPO, you think?
Yeah, I mean, but eventually it will happen. I mean, Jio Financial has happened. Eventually, I think you will see the retail business, Jio, as well as the O2C business also seeing the light at the end of the day. And what is important here is that, the environment is of high interest rate. A lot of things have changed since 2020. Interest rates are up. Capital is not as freely available as it was. and and still having the ability to source that kind of investments over $1 billion at almost double the valuation is commendable. And as my fellow colleague made the point, I think they have demonstrated both top line and bottom line growth. They've been investing. Retail has been doing massive acquisitions in different categories. Almost 18,000 plus stores online, both Ajio and JioMart doing pretty well. There's a nice hybrid model. So augurs well. I mean, but can't put really a timeline. But eventually, it's going to happen for all three businesses.
All right, a big valuation benchmark at least has been created. Gurmeet Chadda, thanks so much. Arvind, thanks so much for joining us. With that, it's a wrap from me on this big development and announcement. But up next is our non